Hey guys, Matt, Cichlid Dojo back with another video update. Today is an update on the Andinoacara Stalsbergi, the Peruvian green terrors. I think it's been some time since I did a specific update on this species or this group, so I'm going to try to remember where we left off. You may recall that at one point I had two of these groups, two separate groups of wild-caught Stalsbergi, and I've since consolidated to this one group, or this one tank. This is the 120-gallon tank that I have, 4 foot by 2 by 2. They're doing pretty good. If you recall some of the struggles that I've had with this group, and I would guess at this point, based on some of the stuff that I've seen, it's a lot is specific to these wild caughts. They've had some internal type of issues, white stringy poops, done all of the medications and treatments and this and that, and it didn't really do anything. And it also kind of formed out of nowhere. It may have been due to a diet change, getting them from flake to pellet. Who knows? That's my best guess at this moment. But I'm also thinking just the fact these wild caughts may just be more sensitive than their offspring, and that's where, you know, I've followed up with many of the people who have received these guys their F1 fry. That first batch moved pretty fast. We had kind of a long waiting list for those, and so that first batch went definitely fast. And I've been keeping contact with everyone. Been privileged to see a lot of the updates on their fry, and quite frankly, I'm really impressed. Almost somewhat jealous to see some of these, some of their fry and their offspring doing so well, and not a single report of any of the internal issues that I've seen on and experienced on this wild-caught group. All of their fry, I think, are in the range of about 2 to 3 inches. Incredibly good eaters, and that's something I've struggled with these wild-caughts. After the treatments for internal issues, they just would not take anything. They would not eat anything. It took many months, and then they would just pick some of the flake that they used to eat really well when they were at a small size, and then I got some advice from someone recently, and I really wish I remember. I get a lot of messages on social media, and I'm really thankful this person gave me that advice. I mean, it's something that I've heard before trying, but until you get suggestions that maybe this would work, or in that person's case, they had Stalsbergi and they had those issues, and it had worked for them in the past. So, and if I take a quick break here, you can see that male here. It looks like he wants to get into breeding again with that female, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So back to the hopefully a cure for the issues. He recommended I feed de-shelled peas once a week, and at that point, I was willing to try anything. They're looking like their bellies are getting sunken in. Some still, somewhat, but since I started doing that, and I actually take it a step further. I'll soak them in some of the garlic guard to help entice them to eat it. And I believe garlic is good for their stomachs anyways. And immediately I could see when feeding that, they just they love that stuff. They eat it really well, and And then over time, it didn't happen overnight, but over time, their appetites started to come back for the other foods. The flake food, some of the pellets they're eating now, and most importantly, there's really almost no white stringy poops hanging from these fish. That was a complete change then from before I tried the peas, and so I believe it's working. I'll continue to do that going forward, and hopefully just their appetite continues to grow, because at the rate they were going before, I'm not sure how long they would have lasted. Looked like they might have been somewhat wasting away, and I fully expected their fry, with some of the updates people showed me, to surpass them in size. And so for that reason, I was thinking plan B in my head. I'm gonna have to grow out some of my fry, permanently for my group, if these guys don't make it. So, but glad to see them doing well. It's been a while since I can say that. It's a species that I really was trying to get for many years, and finally got my hands on some last year. And then also I was very, very fortunate to be getting spawns from them. I don't think they're the most difficult species to breed. I just think that getting them at wild caughts stage, opens yourself up to some issues for keeping them. I know others who've had their group of wild caughts, they've lost them all. And I've been very fortunate not to lose that many of them. And then I think this male and female are looking really good. And in addition, they're really getting consistent with the breeding. I have that first batch that moved pretty quickly, and I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of those updates on their F1s. In addition, they had a second and third batch, which I grew out and later combined, and they are now in their separate tank, probably in the range, I would say, 3/4 of an inch bigger or slightly bigger. And those are available, guys. So if you're interested, if you're like me, always trying to find this species to keep it once for yourself, I highly recommend it. I'm pretty confident you won't have any of the issues that I've had with these wild caughts, and I would love more than anything to see this species more abundant or more out there in the hobby, because for so many years only a few guys you would ever see post them or had them, and most of those guys, or all of those guys, I don't think really shipped any fish or distributed. So hopefully you take advantage, guys, and if you're interested, feel free to message me. Best way would be through my Facebook page or Instagram, direct message, or even, if you don't have those things, you can comment here in the video, leave your your email, or I can send you my email in the comments, and you can send me your number, and we'll go through texting. So they're doing really good, and then in addition, on the top portion of this tank, there's another breeder box which has a very small batch of their fry, probably say 40, probably a month old at this point, but I didn't want to leave it to waste, and it's kind of an observation I've had with the species, maybe attributed to the size of these guys. They're not more than 4 to 5 inches, but they have really small spawns for the most part. I think their first one was probably the largest, maybe in the 150 to 175 fry range. This last one was only about 40. So the good thing is they're spawning pretty consistently, and you could tell, I think this male wants to spawn again. And so what will probably happen is that female on the right side driftwood, on that little you know, upward diagonal plane right there to the right of the screen, she'll lay her eggs, and then about 3 days later, she'll move those as wigglers, beginning stage of wigglers, into one of those little ditches or those little holes, and it makes it really easy for me to siphon out the fry, which is why I've been able to, you know, get a lot of these fry from this pair. So yeah, really good pair as far as getting fry off of, and I think they're doing well. You know, still got a couple of those silver dollars in there. I had to remove some of them as the bio load gets bigger when I combine the group. But in general, they seem to be doing good. So anyways, yeah, if you're interested, please let me know. There's a little bit more footage here, but I'll let you guys go early, and feel free to stay and watch the rest if you're interested. And leave any comments or questions you have in the video. Be happy to try to answer them as best as possible. So anyways, guys, appreciate you tuning in, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks. Until next time. Bye.